Perhaps no other champion in sports has cried or made us cry as Roger Federer. Today I'm going to share with you 10 times Roger Federer made us cry in honor of his illustrious career. Roger has made us nervous, excited, happy, and sad, but no other athlete has made us cry as much as Roger. You know what they say, smile and the whole world smiles with you? Well, when Roger cries, the whole tennis world cries with Roger. So grab a hanky and let's get into it. Number 10, the nail-biting dramatic Wimbledon Final between Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer. Roger was the king of the world still going into that match, but Nadal was coming hard after his throne. Less than a month before the Wimbledon Final, Rafa absolutely thrashed Roger in the final of Roland Garros, 6-1, 6-3, 6-0. So Fed heads all over the world were rooting for Roger to assert his dominance on grass. We were ready to concede the dirt, but the grass belonged to Roger. Nadal got out to a 2-lead set, shocking everyone and creating stomach aches all over the globe. But Roger would not go into the night quietly, coming back to win the next two sets 7-6, 7-6. This match had everything: righty versus lefty, power versus finesse, a net rusher versus a baseliner, unbelievable shot making, and heartbreaking misses, plus 2 rain delays. The fifth set was played in a graying and darkening skyline. That created drama on top of the drama. Would the match even be completed? Should the match even be completed? It was getting really dark, which made the match more exciting. But part of me wanted to stop. This would not be a fair way for Roger to lose. And after 4 hours and 48 minutes, the second longest final in Wimbledon history, that's exactly what Roger did, losing 9-7 in the fifth set heartbreak. The look on Roger's face in that dark sky on the grass said it all. He was heartbroken, and so are we. Number 9, the one that got away, 2009 US Open Final versus the gentle giant Juan Martín del Potro. This might be the match that most Fed fans look back at as the one that got away. If Roger would have won this match, he'd have 21 Grand Slams and be in a tie with Novak right now, and one behind Rafa. But it was not to be. Roger started out hot, playing vintage Fed tennis, shot making galore. Who could forget that ridiculous forehand on the run cross-court winner? A routine 6-3 first set win. It almost looked too easy, and that was the problem. At least many people think so, including me. Roger seemed too comfortable. He was coasting. On the second set, he was in cruise control, serving for the match at 5-4, but then something happened. Roger started to miss, and the gentle giant woke up. The result? Del Potro squared the match, and the rest of the match turned into a dogfight, often ending up with a barrage of forehand winners from Del Potro. Had Roger won that second set, the odds were heavily in his favor because he was an obscene 149 wins to 0 losses when up 2 sets. But it was not meant to be. It was the one that got away from the Swiss maestro. Again, Roger's face at the champion ceremony said it all. And he left Fed fans feeling empty. We all somehow knew that that match would come back to haunt us. Number 8, the 2009 Aussie Final against Rafa. Perhaps no one inflicted more mental pain in big matches than the Spanish Bull. Roger was going for number 15 to go one ahead of Pete Sampras. And there was a time when no one thought Pete's record would be broken. Little did we know. Roger put all kinds of pressure on himself with the legends watching. It was more than Roger could bear. After losing in 5 sets, 4 hours and 23 minutes, Roger let out the floodgates. And I think this was a shock to everyone, including Rafa, who stepped in to help. showing that this was more than a rivalry, but a special bond that we'll probably never see in sport again. Take a look.
You remember, you are a great champion. You are one of the best of the history. You're gonna improve the 14 of Sampa for sure. Congratulations for all your career. It's always a pleasure play with you. The best of luck for the rest of the season.
Number 7, Novak Djokovic's forehand heard round the world at the 2011 US Open. Maybe the biggest turning point in Novak's career. Prior to 2010, Roger Federer had Novak's number in Grand Slams. The two met in 2007 US Open Final, which Roger won in straight sets. Then in 2009, Federer dominated Djokovic in the semifinals, showcasing his memorable between-the-legs winner. But in 2010, Novak Djokovic got Roger Federer in 5 sets, which set up an amazing grudge match in 2011. With Roger serving for the match with 2 match points, this happened, and it stunned Roger.
That was good. That was good.
After this shot, it was like Roger didn't even stand a chance. And it left Roger salty in the press conference about why Novak would even dare such a shot.
So for me, this is very hard to understand how you can play a shot like that on match point. But look, maybe he's been doing it for 20 years. So for him, it was very normal. I didn't have the best serve, but it's just the way he returns that. It's just not a guy who believes much, much anymore in winning, and then to lose against someone like that, it's very disappointing because you feel like he was mentally out of it already, and just gets the lucky shot in and off you go.
Number 6, July 8th, 2016, the fall. This was the semifinal match against Milos Roanic, who was playing some of his best tennis of his career. Not only did Roger Federer lose a heartbreaker 6-3 in the 5th set, but this was the most costly fall of Roger Federer's career in the pivotal game of the 5th set.
Oh, it's good. Federer down.
After the match, Roger had this ominous quote, "I don't know yet. I don't even want to know. I just felt not the same afterwards." And Roger wasn't the same afterwards. That fall ended his year, and we did not see him again on the court for another 5 months, something the tennis world was not used to. Number 5, Roger's triumphant return. Roger came back on the court at the 2017 Australian Open, and no one knew what to expect. He was coming off a major knee surgery, and he was getting older. Even Roger was not expecting much, just hoping to get through a couple of matches. But Roger caught fire against Thomas Birdman Berdych, who was number 10 in the world at the time, and he put on a show. 6-2, 6-4, 6-4, and he never looked back, taking out 4 of the top 10 players in the world in that tournament. Also taking out Kei Nishikori, fellow countryman Stan Wawrinka, and then setting up the ultimate showdown with Nadal. Most Fed fans didn't secretly give him a chance. We love Fed, but we'd seen this movie too many times. Roger just seemed to lose against Rafa in big matches. Rafa had his numbers. Something switched, though, in that 5th set. At the point where Roger usually plays a little tight and might be known to spray some forehands or some backhands, Roger instead played with freedom. And that backhand that could be a liability against Rafa became a surprising strength, hitting beautiful cross-court winners, down-the-line winners, until match point, where Roger Federer hits a forehand cross-court winner that's challenged by Rafa. But in the end, it's called in, and Roger jumps for joy, finally bringing out tears of joy of all Fed fans after a very long drought. At 35 years old, Roger was reborn, beating Rafa again in Indian Wells, winning Miami, and wrapping up a routine Wimbledon final against Cilic. For sure, Fed fans could rest now, right? This will surely solidify Roger as the undisputed GOAT, right? Wrong. Number 4, Novak does it again at the Wimbledon 2019 final. What are the odds you serve for the match with 2 match points and lose to the same guy in one of the most important matches of your life? Well, when Novak's across the net, the odds are pretty high apparently. The match started super tight with Novak eking out the first set in a tiebreaker 7-5. And then it gets weird. Roger comes out red hot in the second set and Novak appears to be dizzy and disoriented. And Roger storms to a 6-1 second set. It looked for a moment that Roger might run away with the match, but Novak never goes down easy. The rest of the match turned into a classic Wimbledon final. And against all odds, somehow Roger was serving with 2 match points again at 8-7 in the 5th set. But Novak came out with that cross-court, unbelievable forehand passing shot. The match would go to 12-12 in the 5th set, forcing the first ever 5th set tiebreaker at a Wimbledon final. Novak wins 7-3, taking all the air out of the building, leaving Fed fans stunned once again. Number 3, Roger's sobering Wimbledon return in 2021. At this point, Roger was struggling just to get on the court due to his age and being in a constant battle with his knees. But if he can pull off a miracle, we all know Wimbledon is the place. Just when Roger had us all believing, Hurkacz came out in the quarterfinals, giving us a sobering dose of reality. Fed looked off. He missed easy shots. He looked slow and old and was dealt a bagel in the final set. But it was after the match that hurt the most. We would not see Fed return to competitive play ever again. Number 2, Fed rips our heart out on social media with his viral retirement announcement. I don't think anyone will forget the day they heard the Roger Federer retirement recording. I even remember sitting in a car with my mom listening, and she cried too at the announcement. It was what we all didn't want to hear, but we needed to, I guess. We were all holding out hope every time Roger would release just a couple seconds of behind-the-scenes training, thinking he might be coming back. But he just could not get his knee right. And finally, his last line is what brought my quivering lips into an all-out ball fest.
So I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart to everyone around the world who has helped make the dreams of a young Swiss ball kid come true. Finally, to the game of tennis, I love you and will never leave you.
Number 1, Fed teams up with Rafa at Laver Cup for one last hurrah. It was beautiful, and Fed played surprisingly well for being off the tour for so long. Now it was tough to see him lose such a close match to Tiafoe and Sock, but I could handle that. What came next? No one could. Not a dry eye in the house, as they say. Roger actually said he didn't want to do an interview because he knew how he would react. And the tears that he releases not only trigger him, but everyone. But to Jim Courier's credit, he seized the moment and dragged Roger onto the court for one last cry fest. But this one would go on for a painful but extremely beautiful long time.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to hear from Roger Federer? I think so. Roger, please come out. It's going to be good, Roger, I promise.
What perhaps was most amazing was the way that Rafa broke down, again displaying the immense respect, friendship, and love the two had for one another. For both, it was a huge ending in a storied chapter that will never be forgotten, but we can never recapture. It was real. It was truly over. And then Roger said this to his rock Merca, which I think got me the most.
She could have stopped me long time ago, but she didn't. She kept me going and allowed me to play, so it's amazing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mirka. Thank you for sharing Roger with us for as long as you did. And Roger, we will never leave you, and we will always love you. So please don't be a stranger. If you're still watching this video, please give this video a like and subscribe, or I will have to cry again. Until next time, all you totally obsessed tennis fans, take care.